From an early age, you realized that there was something different about you. While other students seemed to fit easily into the school system, you felt that the environment made no sense. The classes seemed boring, the rules purposeless, and the competition for grades never appealed to you. While everyone around you went with the flow, you wondered, why am I here? What really matters? Society teaches us that intelligence is measured by academic performance, that good grades are synonymous with success, and that those who do not stand out in school are, in some way, destined for failure. But what if this idea is completely wrong? What if true knowledge, the kind that transforms lives and transcends generations, cannot be captured on a test or a piece of paper? The chosen ones have always been different, not because they are less capable, but because they operate on a frequency that the educational system cannot understand. School was designed to train people to follow rules, repeat patterns, and fit in. But the chosen ones were not born to fit in. They were born to question, to expand consciousness, to see beyond the obvious, and to perceive what others do not. If you have ever felt that learning in a conventional way made no sense, if you have ever been labeled as distracted, lazy, or disinterested, know that this was never a reflection of your ability, but rather of your nature. The chosen ones learn differently, question imposed truths, connect with spirituality, and intensely feel the energy around them. And that is exactly why many of them were never the best students in class. But that does not mean they have failed. Quite the opposite. Those who do not fit in are the ones with the most potential to create something new. They are the ones who see beyond illusions and understand that life is much greater than a report card. Today, we will explore 8 reasons why the chosen ones were not the brightest in class, and why this, far from being a weakness, is actually a sign of a much greater destiny. If this message resonates with you, then you already know that you are not here by chance. Now pay attention to each word of this video, because understanding these reasons can change your perception of your own journey. And before we start, a warning. This channel is not just a space for content, but a refuge for those who feel they are different. Here, you will not be judged or forced to fit in. On the contrary, together we will explore hidden truths and strengthen your connection with your purpose. So if this search resonates with you, follow this channel. Not for algorithms or numbers, but because you know deep down in your soul that this is your place. They learn differently. From an early age, the chosen ones realize that learning in the traditional way does not make sense to them. While their classmates follow lessons, memorize formulas, and repeat information to pass exams, they feel that this method is superficial. True knowledge for them comes not only from books, but from experience, reflection, and connection with something greater. In school, intelligence is measured by the ability to memorize and repeat. Those who can remember more details and answer correctly on a test are considered smarter. But the chosen ones do not learn this way. They absorb knowledge more deeply, connecting ideas and seeing patterns that go unnoticed by most people. Often they are seen as distracted, slow, or even uninterested. But in reality, their minds are operating on another level. While the classroom is bound by rigid rules, they are questioning everything, trying to understand the meaning behind things. This process can make them seem disengaged, but they are actually accessing knowledge that goes beyond what is taught there. The chosen ones do not learn only with words or numbers. They feel the truth in what they study. If a subject does not resonate with their soul, it is difficult to maintain attention. But when they find something that touches them, they dive in completely, exploring every detail and going much further than any teacher could teach. If a teacher teaches about the French Revolution, an ordinary student may only memorize the dates and the names of the leaders. But a chosen one wants to understand the energetic impact of those events, how collective emotions shaped the destiny of a nation, and what similar patterns repeat in history. The difficulty with the educational system does not mean that the chosen ones are less intelligent. It simply indicates that their way of learning does not fit into a closed and limited model. They learn better when they have the freedom to explore, connect ideas, and follow their own pace. This unique way of learning may lead them to feel that there is something wrong with them. But the truth is the opposite. Their minds were not made to fit into a system that values repetition, but to see beyond, connect what no one else sees, and transform knowledge into real wisdom. They question everything from an early age. The chosen ones are not satisfied with ready-made answers. From a young age, they want to understand the reasons behind everything. While other children accept adults' explanations without questioning, they ask why all the time. And they are not satisfied with superficial answers because they feel that reality is much more complex than what we are taught. This constant questioning can be challenging for parents and teachers, who prefer that children simply follow instructions and trust what is taught to them. But the chosen ones cannot just accept something as truth without reflecting. They need to investigate, explore different perspectives, and understand the essence of what is being said. In school, this behavior creates friction. Teachers who expect obedience and repetition may see them as difficult, rebellious, or stubborn students. But it is not about rebellion. It is about a genuine desire to understand the world more deeply. They do not challenge authorities for the sake of contestation, but because their instinct prevents them from accepting anything without question. While others memorize grammar rules, a chosen one wants to know why language works the way it does. While their peers memorize historical phases, they question the real impact of events and wonder what was not told in the books. The need to go beyond conventional explanations may lead them to be interested in topics that extend far beyond the school curriculum. This curiosity often makes them seem different. While others go with the flow, they question why the flow exists. While teachers teach about scientific laws, they want to know what truly underpins those laws. If someone says that something is impossible, they ask, who says? How is this proven? And what if there is another way to see this issue? This behavior can cause isolation, because few people around them have the same need to understand everything deeply. Peers may consider them strange or difficult to deal with. But deep down, this incessant questioning is what makes them special. The chosen ones do not accept illusions. They want the truth, and they are willing to question even the most established beliefs to find it. This may lead to misunderstandings, but it is precisely this quality that takes them to a level of understanding that few reach. They have always been more interested in spiritual knowledge. The chosen ones have never been satisfied with common knowledge. From an early age, they felt that there was something beyond what the eyes could see. While their peers were focused on learning mathematical equations, grammar rules, or historical dates, they were in search of something deeper. The purpose of life, the origin of existence, and the invisible forces that shape the universe. School teaches only what can be measured and proven, but the chosen ones know that not everything can be explained with numbers and theories. They feel that there is a greater energy guiding everything, and they want to understand how this works. Therefore, traditional subjects seem limited to them. Not because they are not intelligent enough to learn them, but because these topics do not answer their biggest questions. While others memorize the layers of the earth or the structure of DNA, a chosen one wants to know about the vital energy that keeps a human being alive. They wonder if consciousness is really within the brain, or if there is something beyond the physical body. They want to understand the impact of vibrations, the connection between human beings, and the energies of the universe. This search for the spiritual can make them feel isolated, while their friends are interested in careers, material possessions, and social status. They want answers that go beyond the physical world. They ask themselves why they were born, what their purpose is, and what happens after death. This desire to understand the invisible side of life is not a flaw, but a sign that they have been called to something greater. School may not have been able to nurture their curiosity, but that does not mean their knowledge is lesser. On the contrary, the chosen ones know that there is a type of wisdom that cannot be learned in school books, but is felt, lived, and discovered through connection with the divine. They struggled with meaningless tasks. The chosen ones have always had difficulty motivating themselves for things that do not make sense to them. From an early age, they realized that memorizing dates, solving repetitive equations, or writing about topics that did not inspire them was a waste of time. Not because they were incapable, but because they intuitively knew that true learning happens when there is purpose and meaning. While their classmates worked hard to get good grades and please their teachers, the chosen ones asked themselves, "Why am I learning this? How does this connect with my life? Does this really matter?" If they found no real purpose behind a task, they struggled to engage. The simple act of memorizing out of obligation never made sense to them. This often led them to be seen as lazy or disinterested. Teachers and family members might believe that they were not trying hard enough, when in reality, they just could not invest energy in something that did not resonate with their essence. They had no trouble spending hours studying a topic that truly fascinated them, but they refused to waste time on something they considered empty. The chosen ones learn best through experience, observation, and emotional connection. They do not want to just repeat information. They want to feel the knowledge, absorb it in a way that makes sense in their journey. This explains why many of them excel in creative, philosophical, or spiritual areas, where they can explore ideas freely and connect different concepts. A chosen one who sees no purpose in solving math tests may, however, become fascinated by sacred geometry and the hidden patterns in nature. Someone who did not enjoy writing essays in school may develop a passion for recording deep thoughts in a journal or creating texts that touch people's souls. When a topic makes sense to them, they become completely absorbed and learn easily. The traditional educational system was not designed for minds like theirs. It demands conformity, repetition, and obedience, while the chosen ones seek freedom, meaning, and evolution. They were not created to simply follow orders, but to see beyond, question, and create something new. What seemed like a lack of interest in school was, in fact, a sign that their mission went far beyond the confines of a classroom. They were extremely sensitive to the energy around them. From a young age, the chosen ones notice things that no one else does. They enter an environment and feel the energy in the air. They pick up on what is unsaid, perceive invisible tensions, and absorb emotions that are not theirs. In school, this becomes a major challenge. While other students focus only on subjects and activities, they feel everything around them intensely. Classrooms are spaces filled with emotions: fear of tests, anxiety over grades, frustration from teachers, conflicts between classmates. All of this mixes in the environment and weighs down on the chosen ones. They feel this emotional burden as if it were their own, which can make them restless, anxious, or even emotionally drained. Strict schedules, inflexible rules, and the closed structure of school amplify this feeling of suffocation. For the chosen ones, learning should be a free and expansive experience, but the traditional school environment confines them to a pace that does not resonate with their nature. Over time, this can lead to discomfort, difficulty concentrating, and even emotional crises. Often teachers and peers do not understand what is happening. They may think the chosen ones are distracted, shy, or even lazy. But in reality, they are dealing with an energetic whirlwind within themselves. A teacher may enter the classroom trying to hide their fatigue, but a chosen one will immediately sense that something is wrong. They feel the exhaustion in the words, posture, and tone of voice, even if no one else notices. This sensitivity also causes them to avoid certain places or people. They instinctively know when an environment is charged, or when someone is not being sincere. In school, this can make them more reserved or selective about friendships. While others interact without much thought, the chosen ones need to feel safe before connecting with someone. This heightened perception is not a problem, but a gift. The world needs people who see beyond appearances and understand the energies that shape reality. The challenge is learning to protect this sensitivity and use it consciously. The chosen ones may not have fit into the school environment, but that does not mean there was something wrong with them. It means they were destined for something much greater than that space could offer. They have always seen through the illusion. The chosen ones have never accepted the rules of society without question. From an early age, they realized that many of the norms and expectations imposed by schools and the world around them were illusions. While others chased good grades, awards, and recognition, they felt that something was wrong, as if they were trapped in a game whose rules made no sense. In school, it was always said that success depended on getting good grades, passing tests, and earning a diploma. But the chosen ones instinctively knew that this was only a small part of life. They understood that intelligence is not measured by a report card, and that true knowledge goes far beyond the walls of a classroom. While other students worried about academic competition and the pursuit of approval, the chosen ones asked themselves, why is this so important? Who decided that these are the rules of the game? Is there something greater that no one is seeing? This line of thinking made them seem uninterested to teachers and family members. But the reality is that they were focused on a much deeper level of understanding. They clearly saw that school did not teach essential life skills. They knew that true intelligence lay in the ability to adapt, to see beyond the obvious, and to follow a real purpose. The idea of success based solely on grades and titles never convinced them because they felt that something much greater was waiting for them. This broader vision made them question the rules that everyone followed without thinking. While most students accepted the pressure for performance as something natural, the chosen ones realized that it was all just a big system of control. They knew that not everything taught there was absolute truth, and that much of the information was just superficial versions of reality. Because of this, many chosen ones had difficulty fitting in. They could be seen as unmotivated students because they did not strive to compete in something they did not value. But in reality, they were just directing their energy toward what truly mattered. While their peers concerned themselves with fitting into the system, they were preparing for something much greater. School was never able to teach everything the chosen ones needed. True learning came from experiences, deep observations about the world, and the relentless pursuit of truth. While society valued titles and diplomas, they already understood that the most important thing was the evolution of the soul and the purpose they were destined to fulfill. They were dreamers. The chosen ones have always lived with their minds beyond the present. While school demanded focus on tasks and scheduled content, their minds were traveling through new possibilities, connecting ideas, and exploring invisible worlds. They never settled for simply repeating what was taught. They wanted more. They wanted to understand what lay behind reality and how everything was connected. From a young age, they were the ones who got lost in thoughts, creating stories, imagining futures, and trying to comprehend the universe in ways that no one else considered. In school, this made them seem distracted. While a teacher explained a mathematical equation, they were thinking about how numbers relate to universal patterns and hidden codes in creation. This way of being was not always understood. Many times they were reprimanded for not paying attention, for not finishing assignments within the expected time, or for seeming disconnected. But the truth is that they were not uninterested. They were just on another level. To them, school felt like a cage, a place that limited the true expansion of consciousness. The traditional educational system values those who follow rules, meet deadlines, and concentrate on what is in front of them. But the chosen ones do not operate that way. They live with their heads in the future, in the unknown, in the questions that no one else asks. This thinking makes them visionaries, capable of seeing solutions where others see only problems. Their dreams have always been big. While their peers thought about secure careers and predictable paths, the chosen ones wanted to explore new ideas, create something meaningful, and transform the world in some way. For them, reality was not fixed, but something moldable, full of possibilities waiting to be discovered. This connection to the intangible made many feel out of place. While others worried about tests and report cards, they were reflecting on the meaning of life, the purpose of existence, and the invisible forces that govern everything. This made them different, but also prepared them for something greater than any classroom could teach. They were made for something greater. School was just a small chapter in the journey of the chosen ones. For many, this period was marked by difficulties, misunderstanding, and a constant feeling of not belonging. But what if these difficulties were not an obstacle, but a sign? A sign that they were never meant to follow the common path, but to create a new one. The chosen ones never fit into the rigid structures of the school system because they were born to expand, question, and transform. While school demands conformity, they are driven by the need to seek meaning. While the world values titles and diplomas, they know that true knowledge goes beyond what any institution can teach. From an early age, they felt that there was something different within them. Not fitting into the rules of school was never a flaw, but an indication that they were destined for something greater. The educational system was designed to create obedient workers, but the chosen ones were not born to simply follow orders. They were born to lead, innovate, and enlighten those around them. The challenges faced in school do not define their intelligence or potential. Many of the brightest minds in humanity were discredited in the school environment because they thought differently, because they saw what others did not see. The chosen ones have this same ability to see beyond what is taught, to perceive truths that remain hidden from most. The true value of a chosen one is not in a report card, a test, or a diploma hanging on the wall. Their value lies in the impact they will have on the world, in the ideas that will transform lives, in the messages that will awaken consciousness. While many are concerned with following safe and predictable paths, the chosen ones feel a calling to tread a unique road that no one else has walked before. The chosen ones have always felt that they were different, and for that reason, they have often been misunderstood. School may have tried to fit them into a mold that never served, but that does not mean they failed. On the contrary, it means they were destined for something much greater than any system could offer. True learning does not happen only within a classroom, but in the journey of life, in the pursuit of real knowledge, in the connection with their mission. The fact that they did not stand out in school does not mean they will not shine in the world. In fact, those who see beyond illusions, who question and dream big, are the ones who truly make a difference. Each challenge experienced was part of the path to something greater. The feeling of not belonging was just a sign that they were not there to follow what had already been established, but to create something new. Now the choice is in each person's hands, to keep trying to fit in or to accept their unique nature and carve their own path. If you have gone through any of these situations, share in the comments. Your story may inspire other chosen ones who are also trying to understand their purpose.